Meanwhile, as Trump is claiming victory, the president continues to threaten to obliterate Iran's energy infrastructure if a ceasefire deal is not reached. But the skies in West Asia telling a different story. Despite being hit badly, Iran has been striking back hard. From U.S. military bases to Israeli oil hub and cities, all are being targeted. Here's the latest from on the ground.
Raging flames in Haifa. Black smoke billows. This is Israel's biggest oil facility. Iran has hit it again. Israeli forces claim intercepted missile debris sparked the blaze. No direct hit, they insist. But images tell a different story. Israeli missile defense systems are facing a tough test as it struggles to tackle Iran's missile and drone salvos. These are images from the southern Israeli city of Beersheba, where an Iranian missile struck a factory, sending black plumes of smoke and billowing flames high into the air. Arab town of Shafa Amr in northern Israel also came under heavy attack.
2 or 3 hours ago I was sitting. I am the uncle of the owner of the house that was hit. I heard the sirens. Few minutes later, I heard, in seconds, I heard the explosion and I thought it's my house. Thank God we didn't have casualties.
Shrapnel fell here in this area, and the rescue team arrived to the site. They were searching the area and closed off the area. This is part of the work that the rescue teams are doing 24 hours.
Iran kept up the pressure on its Gulf Arab neighbors as Saudi Arabia intercepted 5 missiles targeting its oil-rich eastern province. Bahrain sounded a missile alert. And a fireball erupted over Dubai as an incoming missile was taken out by defenses. The latest images from Iraq show a raging fire on the tarmac, which also houses a support center for the US Embassy. Israel's military claims to have struck dozens of weapons production sites, including a long-range surface-to-air missile manufacturing line in Iran's capital, Tehran.
My brother was neither military nor IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, nor a Basij, paramilitary militia member. He was an ordinary person whose house became like this. They hit a residential home at 3:30 in the morning.
US military also continues to rain bombs on its targets across Iran. But despite the overwhelming military power deployed against it, Iranian forces are hitting back. Iran's strategy is about persistence. Ballistic missiles launched in waves. Drones used to probe and distract. Defenses get saturated, gaps appear, and when they do, strikes land. While American Marines and the US warships move into position for potential ground operations, the IRGC stands ready. They are no longer hiding in the shadows. They're striking the economic and the military heart of their adversaries, proving that even when cornered, they can still inflict pain. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
It's not just Israel. Certainly Israel would...
The war in West Asia is no longer just about missiles and oil. US President Donald Trump is now threatening to choke Iran where it hurts the most: water. The US president, in fact, has warned that if Tehran refuses a ceasefire and fails to reopen the crucial Strait of Hormuz, American forces could blow up Iran's desalination plants, the very systems that supply drinking water across the country. Let's just break this down first. In a post on Truth Social, the US president saying negotiations are underway with Iran and progress is being made, but he is also issuing a rather blunt warning if talks collapse. In Trump's words, Washington is ready to completely obliterate Iran's critical infrastructure. That also includes electric power plants, oil wells, Karg Island, assets Trump claims the US has so far deliberately avoided targeting. And Trump, remember, had earlier set a deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by next Monday or face direct strikes on its power grid. And Trump's latest threat coming amid the ever-escalating situation on the battlefield across West Asia.
Because they want to take over the Middle East, not just Israel.
Now, on the ground, the intensity of the Iranian missile attacks has reportedly reduced, but their impact is reportedly growing more destructive. A ballistic missile strike has triggered a major fire at an oil refinery in Haifa. Take a look. Just a day earlier, another attack caused a massive fire at a chemical facility near Beersheba. Iran has also allegedly struck a power and water desalination facility in Kuwait. The attack followed joint US-Israeli strikes that triggered widespread blackouts in Tehran, while the Israeli military says it has struck a university in Tehran linked to the Revolutionary Guards, claiming it was being used for advanced weapons research. The human cost of the war has been mounting as well on all sides. In Tehran, residents could be seen digging through the rubble after strikes hit a residential building. In neighboring Iraq, as per local government officials, a rocket attack targeted an Iraqi airbase west of Baghdad airport and destroyed a military aircraft.
The Martyr Muhammad Allah Air Base was targeted by 122 Grad missiles, and actually one of our planes, which is an Antoniov 132, was hit badly and destroyed. This is a condemned and reprehensible act. We have started an investigation to follow and chase whoever carried out this act.
Meanwhile, in Turkey, the country's defense ministry said NATO forces had intercepted a new missile fired from Iran, the fourth since the start of the West Asia war. The economic shockwaves from the war, especially its impact on global energy markets, continuing as well, with the crude oil prices looming around $116 a barrel. G7 ministers held an emergency virtual meeting where they basically pledged to undertake necessary measures to stabilize the global energy market. Meanwhile, Iran has reiterated that it does not have any nuclear weapons ambitions and has now said that its membership in the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty is under review in the parliament.
Iran has never sought and does not seek nuclear weapons. Regarding membership in this treaty, regardless of our clear position on the prohibition of all weapons of mass destruction, this is genuinely a debate taking place within public opinion and at the parliamentary level.
And in Europe, divisions over the war are further widening. Spain has now shut its airspace to US planes involved in the Iran war. It has already denied the use of joint military bases to America, remember, with the Spanish Prime Minister calling the war in West Asia illegal, reckless, and unjust. Back in Israel, the fallout of the war continues. A large missile fragment landed in Bedouin village in southern Israel, while in the Arab town of Shefa Amr. Shrapnel from an alleged Iranian strike damaged homes, adding to the civilian fears on the ground. Now, diplomatically, the gap also remains wide. Iran saying it has received that 15-point ceasefire proposal from the United States, but calls it loaded with excessive demands. With threats now extending to water infrastructure, the stakes in the war have never been higher. Shifting focus, a new study by Stanford researchers outlines the dangers of asking AI chatbots for personal advice. The study says AI chatbots tend to prioritize agreement with users rather than provide objective guidance or information. It suggested that this behavior by chatbots could have wider social and behavioral consequences. The research published in the journal Science focuses on AI, sycophantic nature of AI chatbots, saying it is not just a stylistic issue, but a common behavior with potentially harmful consequences. And in the first part of the study, researchers tested 11 large language models, including ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek reportedly. They used queries based on real-world interpersonal advice and scenarios involving potentially harmful or illegal actions. The study found that AI responses were around 49% more likely than human responses to validate user behavior. And in the second part, more than 2,400 participants interacted with different types of AI chatbots, some designed to be sycophantic, others more neutral. Participants were basically asked to discuss personal problems or respond to scenarios drawn from online platforms. The study found that users were more likely to prefer and trust sycophantic AI responses and were more inclined to seek advice from such chatbots again. Now, these effects remain consistent across different age groups reportedly, different backgrounds and levels of familiarity with AI reportedly. Researchers warned this could create perverse incentives for AI developers, where engagement is driven by responses that may also cause harm. The study also found that users interacting with sycophantic AI were more likely to believe they were right and less likely to apologize or reconsider their actions. Experts say this could reduce pro-social behavior and also increase dependence on AI systems over time.